Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? Welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Well, Who Dat Nation, the New Orleans Saints overcome the odds. The New Orleans Saints knock off the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle by a score of 33-27. And I know everyone in the Who Dat Nation is really happy that the New Orleans Saints got the victory when a lot of people thought that this would be insurmountable odds. And the New Orleans Saints rallied as a team to get the victory over the Seattle Seahawks. First off, I want to give a special shout out to everybody out there. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Those that criticized Teddy Bridgewater, the ones that said that the guy sucks, the one that said that the guy couldn't get it done, the people that said that the Saints was going to go 0-6 because Teddy Bridgewater wasn't the answer, put in Taysom Hill. All I want to know is where y'all at now? Because throughout the game, I was on the State of the Saints podcast on Facebook. I was on the State of the Saints podcast on Twitter. And I just couldn't seem to find any of the people that were talking about Teddy Bridgewater for the past couple weeks. I mean, I couldn't find you. I mean, please, reveal yourself. I'm giving y'all a shout out because I want to give you all the attention you deserve. The attention you deserve for being wrong. Teddy Bridgewater played a very good game against the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't want to hear, oh, he was dinking and dunking. Oh, he was just throwing some quick passes. Whatever. The New Orleans Saints did what they needed to do. They understood what they had in the quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. They understood that Teddy can do certain things. And shouts out to the offensive coordinators and the head coach, Sean Payton, for putting him in a position to succeed. He was 19 of 27, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he did a very good job. Exactly what I said on the last podcast. Teddy Bridgewater is not going to be out here throwing for 350, 400 yards. That has never been his game. As long as he can steer the ship, make sure that he can just drive the bus and make sure it don't crash, the New Orleans Saints should be okay. This was a overall team victory. Offense, defense, and special teams stepped up in order for the Saints to get this victory. It starts with Deontay Harris goes out there, returns a punt for a touchdown. A lot of people were talking about him at the beginning of the season, preseason. I mean, he holds the NCAA record for most returns. I think he had 14 throughout college. So this guy's the truth on special teams. Shouts out to the defense. Eli Apple, a guy who a lot of people been criticizing, talking about. He stepped up. He forced the fumble today. Von Bell scooped it up. Shouts out to the referee for not screwing the Saints for another week. So they were able to actually capitalize on the forced fumble, just like they should have done last week. And you have to give credit where credit is due when it comes to Thomas Morstead. That's right. I know kickers don't really get the attention unless they kicking a game-winning field goal or something like that, like Will Lutz in week 1. But the way that Thomas Morstead was punting the football with an average of 54 yards and pinning the Seattle Seahawks back on a 2 and a 1 yard line, that showed you right there that Thomas Morstead is the truth. He is legitimate at his position. He is one of the most underrated punters in the National Football League, probably the best if you ask me. So he did an outstanding job. A great team effort. Special teams, when they were punting the football, guys could not get any return yards. Shouts out to JT Gray, Hardy, all those guys on special teams did an outstanding job. I mean, you can't say too much about this game. The only thing that you have to mention is the penalties that the Saints had. You had 11 last week. You got 11 this week. They had a couple plays that needed to go back because somebody was offsides or somebody was holding. So the New Orleans Saints got to clean that up. They definitely got to clean that up, and I think they should be okay. I understand there's going to be some growing pains because it's a different quarterback in the huddle. I mean, it's a different cadence. It's a different style. Teddy Bridgewater is not Drew Brees. I think we all can agree with that. You know, Drew Brees has a certain cadence, and Teddy Bridgewater has a certain cadence. And now we got to talk about the man of the hour. I'm talking about Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara put this team on his back today. I mean, he was doing it all. He was running in between the tackles. He was catching out of the backfield. I mean, this guy had a couple plays where he should have been dead to rights. And the next thing you know, he just pop out of there. He made that screen pass to from Teddy Bridgewater. He made that look so easy that Jim Nantz and Tony Romo thought he stepped out of bounds. That's how smooth this guy was running. He makes it look so effortless out there, man. It's like he's not even trying hard. This guy put the team on his back today. You got to give him credit. And I think you have to say that he is got to be one of the top 3 best running backs in the National Football League. Michael Thomas, he made a few plays. He had a touchdown today, his first of the season. Of course, he's not going to probably get 10 to 12 targets like he does with Drew Brees, but he was out there battling. He made a few catches. There was a couple passes by Teddy Bridgewater a little bit high. One play, Teddy Bridgewater had an opportunity to hit him, and he threw the ball a little bit too high. Mike had to jump up and catch it. He just couldn't come down with both feet. I think they're going to work on that as the weeks go by. But the Saints did a great job on offense, in the second half, just kind of milking the clock, controlling the time of possession, just making sure that they weren't making any type of mistakes. Great play calling. The defense stepped up, stopping the run. They stopped Carson. They stopped Polite, the 2 running back for the Seattle Seahawks. Got to give credit to Demario Davis on that 4th and 1. He plugged the hole. I mean, he was all over the field. Demario Davis has to be the top 3 or top 5 best free agent acquisitions the New Orleans Saints ever had. Of course, it's going to be Drew Brees got to be number 1. You can put Jonathan Velma in there, and you got to say that he's in there somewhere because this guy is all over the field. He's very knowledgeable. He understands what he needs to do, and he's always a guy that you can count on. So shouts out to Demario Davis for really doing what needs to be done. The New Orleans Saints, they overcame the odds. I mean, you look at the media and everybody talking about the Saints saying, hey, they not going to win this game. They not going to perform well. Drew Brees is the heart and soul of the team. They ain't going to be able to get it done. They got it done today, and they got it done in a place where they struggled in Seattle. I mean, over the years, the New Orleans Saints always struggle in Seattle. You got to say that the preparation by them staying on the West Coast for like 2 weeks, they've been out there since they played the Rams. So they were out there just chilling. They were practicing in Washington State. So, they were familiar with the conditions and everything like that. And they were able to kind of adjust accordingly. I think when teams actually going up against Seattle, I mean, it's one thing to know, okay, it's raining out here, but to make sure that you're prepared, to make sure that you have the right cleats. I know you've seen a couple running backs from the Seahawks. Carson, he kept on slipping on the ground. I mean, little stuff like that really does volumes, helping teams understand what they're up against. So great preparation by the New Orleans Saints, staying out there, understanding the conditions and adjusting. I think that was one of the main reasons why they look so comfortable playing against the Seattle Seahawks. Wasn't surprised that the game started to get a little bit closer. The Saints was winning the game 27-7, and all of a sudden, you seen Russell Wilson do his magic. Russell Wilson is a very underrated quarterback. Didn't surprise me at all. Some of the fourth quarter heroics in this game, just trying to get his team back in it, making the score look more respectable. That didn't surprise me at all. Something the Saints needs to work on. The New Orleans Saints need to work on these downfield passes. The jury is going to start to be out on those deep passes because teams are going to start throwing the ball deep, and because they know that 2 things are going to happen is rather the receiver is going to make a big play or the New Orleans Saints cornerbacks or safeties are going to get a holding or pass interference. So they got to clean that up. They got to do a better job. I mean, too many deep balls down the field, and I think if they stop that, I think the Saints are really going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I'm very, very excited that the New Orleans Saints got the victory, and I'm very excited that Teddy Bridgewater did what needed to be done and that is control the game. You know, I'm pretty sure he was nervous out there, you know, in the first quarter, couple snaps, but he kind of settled in, and you can really tell. So as long as Teddy Bridgewater can kind of just, you know, steer the car, once again, make sure it don't crash, I think the New Orleans Saints should be okay until number 9 gets back. But I would like to hear from you. What do you think about the game? What do you think about the New Orleans Saints Seattle Seahawks Week 3 matchup? I would like to hear from you. Like and share and comment down below. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio.com. Thank you all for listening. State of the Saints podcast will be live later on this week, so be on the lookout. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?